Greetings and salutations. So, another video on the construct or idea or discussion based around, and I'm going to keep this to one topic, is based around the image of the game. So right now, this it's kind of marketed as like a pirate game, Atlas. And then the idea that you're on the ocean and you can raid other ships and there's sunken treasure and you have all these exotic islands, and I think that hurts you. It hurts the game, and it helps the game. And one of the constructs that it hurts the game is you attract a lot of players who are looking for this immediate kind of cheap, fast asphyxiation or fast thrill. They just want to raid somebody, they want to sink somebody's ship, and they're not really a long time or long term player. They're not really the guy who farms up um, an empire and builds an empire. They're just learning. They just want to burn something down, and they're going for that fast. And if you market the game to more towards um, a commerce, commercial, kind of like a West Indies idea, where you have goods and services to trade, and you can build a thriving economy and a vast wealth, and hire merchants and do these other things. Like the game doesn't change, but how you market it changes. You kind of attract those players that are looking for more complex gameplay, and who are more community driven, and who are willing to stick around because they're trying to do something that is more than just burn somebody's shit down. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's the guys who play the are caught up in that pirate theme. That's really what they're doing, is they're just looking for some quick booty. They want to get some treasure. They want to burn somebody's shit down. And they want to laugh about it as somebody's floating in the water. And problem is, those guys don't stick around. And they play for 2 or 3 weeks. They've bought the game, and maybe that's okay because you've gotten your purchase. But on the other end, you want those YouTubers, you want those folks who play long term, who have the economy. But the thing is, though, is you kind of need to set up these systems too, and some of them kind of already exist, but they're not really flushed out. And like how when you come up to an island, you have a message of the day. That needs to be ironed out, because I used to own a couple of islands before the wipe, and it was really hard to get those messages to work the way that you wanted them to. And if you entered the wrong message, I would have the polar island giving the message for the tropical island, and it was a little convoluted, and it needed to be simplified. Like it needed to say, message for it said region. All that shit was just kind of a little convoluted, and but it was a great system. It's just the messaging, how that stuff was worded, didn't make sense, and so I had to mess with it 3 or 4 times before I got it. But I used to put like, these are the things that I have available once they came into the kind of the zone of the island, and for resource gathering, because I wanted people to come to my island so that way they could farm materials, so that way I would get a share of what they were. This taxation concept is great. Um, the issue that you run into is people who don't understand the game. They build over your precious nodes, and then you lose those resources. So there's a lot of marketing that you got to put out signs everywhere that say, "Don't build on my iron node. It's the only one on the island," kind of thing. But then again, you have systems already in place where you can, delete people's stuff within that first 24 hours, which is great. So if they do something like that, it drives that actor player base. But one of my it's kind of a little segue, but one of my complaints is the 7-day thing. It needs to be 14 days. And the reason why I say that is I get it manages server issues, but the issue is some people have a life. Like, some people have professions, and they just cannot log on every day. And what happens is you have to go do some training. You got to go on a trip. You got to go do a business meeting, so that way you can support and take care of your family. And then you come back, and all of your stuff is gone, and you're at 100% wipe for no fault of your own, except you couldn't take the time to log into a video game. And then what happens is you segue into another game and you play something else because you've lost that time and investment in your current project. And if you stretch out that 7-day window just a little bit more, then what happens is you increase your player base, reason for them to stick around just a little bit more time. Maybe it's 9 days, but it just needs to be a little bit more, because I've logged in twice now and everything has been gone. Everything has been disappeared because I missed it, and it was just I had obligations that I couldn't neglect. I just had to do them, and unfortunately, the game became a third or fourth priority or a fifth priority or whatever it is. So that ties into the other aspect of this, and this is that community base, commerce base, is that server load where there needs to be. I played a little bit of Oasis, and Oasis introduced some mechanics like this offline mode where you would go to the zone wall and you would log your stuff out into a lobby, and that lobby system, that gets the stuff out of the game world, and basically it's just a file at this point. And because it's just a file, it's the other players are not dealing with that latency and that load of the game. They're not dealing with your trash and the 12 million items you have on your ship and the latency of that. So it's a great way to manage server load and latency, is just to get it off the server while somebody is in kind of standby mode. If they got to go to their meeting or they got to go to their business trip, they can just lobby their ships, and they don't have to worry about losing their stuff, and they don't have to. That doesn't give them a reason to quit the game per se, because their assets have all been deleted. Now, obviously, you can't lobby animals. You wouldn't be able to lobby animals, and you wouldn't be able to lobby. Um, that's a different discussion altogether. But as far as the hard assets like the boats and the stuff on your boats, you could lobby that. Uh, and I think that would be a great feature to help those resource management. But yeah, the commerce really needs to be driven out to a big part of the commerce is the selling of the where people sell their animals and the breeding of their animals. There need to be things where boats can be sold, uh like I don't know if there's the way to properly say this, but maybe there's a deed that comes with a boat, and you can put the deed in one of those vendors, and you can see the quality of that boat on the deed and what level it is, and that gives a reason to sell boats. So boats need to have a way they give more value, and they're leveling up, and their unique characteristics. That like the system's pretty good with the quality and whatnot, but uh, yeah, I think boats would drive that commerce aspect a whole bunch more, and really help develop that community. And there'd be a whole group of guys out there that's all they would do is level up boats. It's all they would do is look for those rare resources, do those ships of the dam to get the cannons or whatever, and they would put a bunch of playtime into driving that economy. And there needs to be a few more aspects like that. There's the animals, there's the boats. There needs to be a third piece of that trinity of commerce that maybe it's rare material sale. Maybe it's like certain specialized NPCs, like crew members, like a temp agency where you could go and you can sell your crew members. And I know that's kind of a questionable topic, but we're not suggesting that. But as a temp agency type of kind of construct, to where you can sell your crew members. um, I don't know. That might be too politically charged, but you get the idea in general. There needs to be a third piece of this commerce thing tied in to where people spend significant amount of time leveling up, and these deeds or these animal deeds or this stuff can be sold through a transaction system, and that would save the game. That would save the game, and there needs to be more stuff out on the water. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm gonna call this the Commerce Atlas Commerce discussion. All right.